Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? Hope you guys had a great day, man. Listen, I got a great show for you guys today. We kind of did this whole series out of order because I didn't know how much people would be actually interested in me reacting to this mini documentary that News 6 did. So we started off with 5-6. Aki put me on. She said, yo, Strategic, do this reaction to this, right? To this mini documentary. I took a look at it, and then I ended up seeing things that I never noticed before with me going over the Madeline Soto case myself. And you guys know how extensively we've gone through this case. Now, of course, we're not going to get everything. We're only human. We're not going to get everything. You're going to learn new things every time you listen to these interviews. That's why I think it's important to go back over these interviews. But I don't sometimes because I don't want anybody accusing me of going over the same interview twice or 3 times just for content purposes. We're not about that life, okay? We do an entertaining YouTube show. That is our desire to entertain you and educate you. But we don't want to ever seem like we're just covering something just to cover it. But the fact of the matter is, when you cover things multiple times or you go over it, you're going to notice things you did not notice before. And we watched the 5 and 6 chapters out of this 6-part series, and we learned something that we never heard before. We heard Jen Soto say, and like 50% of the audience said they never heard this before, and 50% of the audience said that they heard it before. Well, we heard Jen Soto say, do I have to press charges on Stephen Stearns? What if I don't want to press charges on him now? What if I change my mind later? Will I still be able to press charges if I don't want to press charges right now? Now, we all know that pressing charges was out of her hands. The police had evidence of CSAM and abuse and later murder. But the fact that Jen Soto would think about not pressing charges at that moment blew my mind, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely blew my mind. I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't. And where did we come on to that? Where did we pick up on that? Well, watching this documentary. So we did 5 and 6 together. It's a very successful show. A lot of people are viewing in and checking out that show and getting a lot of value out that show. We did 1 and 2 pre-produce. You guys could be able to check that one out when it premieres tomorrow, like around noonish or something like that. Make sure that you when you're subscribed, that you have all of your notifications set to all. It's the only way to know when we're dropping new shows. So 1 and 2 is already in the bag. It's been scheduled to premiere for like the last 3 or 4 days. I did that a couple days ago, so hopefully you guys will check that out. And I just decided, I came in the house today. I had a long day. I just finished processing a collar. It was a very long day dealing with the district attorneys and all that different stuff. I don't know why my throat is so dry. I come in the house. It's around 9:30-ish, 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock now. And everybody's sleeping. I thought my son would at least be up. I thought my girls would be up. Nope, they're all sleeping. They're all getting ready for bed for school tomorrow. So I said, you know what? I'm so busy this week. Let's do a pop-up live tonight. Let's do 3 and 4 tonight. So we did this totally out of order, guys. We did 5, 6 live. That was the first entrance into this documentary. 1 and 2 is pre-produced, and that's going to drop tomorrow. And we're going to do live 3 and 4 today. We're going to see what this documentary has to offer for chapters 3 and 4. So big shout out to News 6 with this excellently produced miniseries that is a must-watch. If you're not familiar with the Madeline Soto case and you want to be brought up to speed, I would definitely recommend that whoever checks this out would make sure we have the links inside of the description so you can go ahead and check it out without my commentary. Lastly, I want to say this. I started a TikTok. My TikTok is on fire. And I don't say that lightly because you could go over there and check it out for yourself. And if it's not on fire, you'll be like, what is Strategic talking about? His TikTok is not on fire. My TikTok is on fire. 3 days ago, we uploaded a video that we posted here about Naziah Harris, the unfortunate little girl who had an unfortunate life, who was not respected, who was abused, impregnated, and murdered. That video has like 4,000 views here on YouTube. 750,000 views on TikTok. Say that again. 750,000 views on TikTok, And every time I check it, like every hour or 2 hours, there's 30, 40, 50,000 more views. I suspect it will probably be 1 million views before TikTok gets banned. So we're late to the platform. The moment we get on the platform will most likely get banned. But I got to tell you, we're having a great time over there. We're getting a lot of subscribers, and we're getting a ton of views. That's one video, 750,000. Other videos, hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands. It's on fire. They seem to love what we're doing over there on TikTok. So we hope they don't get banned, but we also don't want the Chinese to keep spying on us. So we got to find a balance, guys, because we're patriots. So we care about the country first before our own profile. Lastly, guys, we do have a Patreon and a membership, so make sure that you subscribe to the Patreon and membership. Now, guys, let's get started before my energy starts to go down the toilet, because I've been working since 5 in the morning, and it's now 10 p.m. Eastern time. Let's get started. Chapters 3 and 4 of the News 6 mini documentary on the Madeline Soto case. Let's see what they got for us. Let's do it. Move myself over.
A police canine trained to detect the scent of dead bodies checks out a silver Lincoln MKZ belonging to Stephen Stearns, the last person to see 13-year-old Madeline Soto alive. The dog does not appear to notice anything unusual. The canine handler then brings the dog over to a white Nissan Sentra belonging to Soto's mother, Jennifer. According to investigators,
I think he moved that body in that car. When he took her car, this Nissan Sentra, on that late night escapade, I think he moved the body. I think when he caught the flat tire on the MKZ, she was dead, but she probably wasn't dead enough that she's like excreting those pheromones and those scents from the body of decaying flesh, because it takes a little while. It doesn't take a long time, but it does take a little bit of time for that decomposition to really settle in. I'm not an expert on cadaver dogs, so I don't know how long a person's dead before a cadaver dog could smell it. I'm kind of just using my own intuition. I'm feeling, so I said I'm feeling, this is not facts here, but I'm feeling when he moved that body in the morning time, nobody knows how long Maddie has been gone at that point. She could have been gone the night before. She could have been ended that very morning right before she was moved in the car. Nobody knows at this point at what time Maddie was actually deceased. So that being said, it's my theory that maybe she hadn't been deceased that long that morning when she was placed into the MKZ and moved to the resting place, the dump site. We're going to say it like that because Stephen Stearns did that to her body, but it pains us because we don't want to disrespect Maddie, but it is. It's the place where he dumped her body because there was no respect in what he did. So let's not soften it. So when he moved into the place where he dumped her body, remember, he had difficulties. He had technical difficulties. One of the technical difficulties that he had was he caught a flat tire. That's going to speed up that process. Another difficulty that he was having is that he was losing the morning, as in the later on in the morning that it takes for him to handle this business, more people's going to be on the road. More witnesses to possibly witness what he's doing. So he's moving fast. He's moving real fast. But when he comes in this Nissan Sentra, guys, Maddie's been decomposing for a little while. So I think he rushed and he kind of dumped her when he had the MKZ. But he knew, I didn't hide her well enough. She's going to be found sooner than I'd like. I need more time. I need more time to delete the CSAM. I need more time to get my affairs together. I need more time to contemplate if I even want to stay on this earth. Yeah, I said that. I think that went across his mind. I think he's thinking about ending it all. I need more time to do whatever it is this man thought he was going to be able to get done. And so he had to go back to the site of the dumping. And he had to move that baby. And I think he moved her in this car. And that's why that cadaver dog hit on that car. But let's keep going.
The canine alerted to possible human remains near the rear passenger wheel well. Earlier that day, authorities arrested Stearns for sexually molesting Madeline. At that point, investigators believed she was likely dead, but they did not know where her body might be. So detectives used license plate readers, surveillance cameras, and other investigative tools trying to bring justice for Madeline.
All right, so it's about to get started. I just want to give a big shout out to the people who are donating to the show. Big shout out to Moni with a $5 super chat, Surf Turtle with $2.99 super sticker, and Kathy KHW with a $10 super sticker. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, guys. You guys are amazing. We do need the support, so let's keep going.
What was she last seen wearing?
Green hoodie,
Green hoodie,
white Crocs.
white Crocs.
Stearns told investigators he and Madeline woke up in their Kissimmee condominium early that morning, climbed into his silver Lincoln, and headed off to school.
We made such good time. I mean, we were so impressed. We made such good time getting out the door. I mean, we were probably out by 7:30, 7:45.
But at that very same time, 7:30, detectives say surveillance cameras at the Venetian Bay Village's condo complex captured video of Stearns putting trash into a dumpster.
Right, so we know he was throwing out her personal belongings, but doesn't he sound like a slithering snake when he talks? Such a good time, such a good time. 7:30, we got out at 7:30. He sounds like a slithering snake. Sounds so diabolical, guys. Like he's such a disgusting person. Let's keep going, though.
Deputies later followed this trash collection truck to a sorting facility. In the trash, deputies say they found Madeline's backpack, her school laptop computer, and one white Croc. According to investigators, a matching white Croc was located in the bedroom of Madeline's mother.
She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there.
Stearns told detectives that Madeline was not awake during much of the drive from the condo to Hunters Creek Middle School, located about 6 miles away.
Do you remember what time you dropped her off?
I estimated it to be sometime between 8:20, 8:40.
But at about that very same time, 8:19 a.m., detectives say surveillance video shows Stearns and Madeline returning to the condominium complex through this security gate. The female appeared to be completely slumped over and with her mouth ajar.
Oh my
Investigators.
God. Can you guys picture that? Picture that, guys. She's gone. She's gone. Her mouth can't even stay closed. That is he was driving around with that horrible, diabolical image next to him. And he didn't have a care in the world. In his head, he's like, I'm the smartest guy in the room. I'm going to get away with this. I'm going to stage this so good, they're not going to ever know that I'm the one who did this. This guy was diabolical. He didn't even put her in the back seat. Like, there's times I'll drive my kids to school when they wake up. I might have something in the front seat. I'm like, just sit in the back because I don't feel like moving it. He got to put her in the back. He put her in the front seat, guys. A seat that also was set up to have a leash in the back. I wonder if he kind of manipulated that leash to keep her upright. I hate to talk about it, but it's a fact of something that may have happened. However he did it, whether he just strapped her in using a seatbelt or whether he used that leash to kind of prop her up, he put her in the front seat. He didn't even have to do that. He could have said, I put her in the back seat. They could have said, well, we saw the shadow of her in the back seat. That probably would have helped this case more because they wouldn't have had such a good view of her in the front seat. He put her in the front seat, guys. Diabolical. Let's keep going.
Wrote they believe she was dead.
I talked to him. He showed me his little clicker. And he's like, hey man, I'm clicking, it's not working.
This security guard says he opened the gate to allow Stearns back in.
Just remember there was a woman like sleeping beside him with a green shirt.
Did you see her move at all?
No.
Okay, she was just still.
Stearns never mentioned that he returned here to the condo until detectives confronted him about it. His explanation contradicted that security guard who says Stearns had a gate clicker.
I had forgotten something. I had forgotten my gate clicker. I'm sorry. I forgot. I had gone back to the house real quick after we left because I had forgotten my gate clicker.
Did she go inside with you?
No, she was in the car still. She was asleep.
Where in?
I forgot my gate clicker. Why did he get high like that? He was about to cry. I forgot my gate clicker. think he's the smartest guy on the planet, guys. He
The
really
car.
is.
Passenger side.
Stearns told investigators he left the condo again and took Madeline to school. But instead, it appears he came to this area around SeaWorld, miles away from her school. At 9:02 a.m., investigators say those traffic cameras up there captured video of Stearns driving through this intersection with Madeline's lifeless body. At 9:35 a.m., cameras at an Orlando office building reportedly show the silver Lincoln entering this parking garage.
Okay.
According to a report, Stearns can be seen moving Madeline's body from the passenger seat to the trunk of his car, which was filled with other belongings. At 10:14 a.m., cameras captured the Lincoln returning to the condo again. Detectives asked Stearns why it took him nearly 2 hours to get back from Madeline's school.
Can't explain it. I wasn't going anywhere in particular. I wasn't doing anything in particular.
At 12:19 p.m.,
I guess you didn't have it all figured out, Stearns, did you? I guess you did not have it all figured out, because guess what? When they ask him these tough questions, that's when he breaks down. That's when his lies break down. And that's when he starts meandering. We're using his words, right? Talking about, I got a brain fart. Oh, no, he doesn't say brain fart. He says, I got a cloudy brain that farts. I got a brain. Let's keep going.
security video
I'm tired. I've been up since 5 in the morning. I'm being silly. Let's go.
reportedly shows the silver Lincoln leaving the condo once more. Using images of the car from license plate readers and traffic cameras, investigators say they can prove the vehicle traveled east from Kissimmee along US 192 towards St. Cloud. According to detectives, the last documented sighting of the Lincoln was near Hickory Tree Road, where it turned south off 192. That just happens to be about 9 miles from the spot where investigators would later find Madeline's body.
I had a couple errands to run over on 192.
While driving to some stores in Kissimmee, Stearns says he got a flat tire, but he could not tell detectives exactly where he stopped to put on the spare.
I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank as any specific business.
Because where he put on the spare is close to where the body's at. If he told them where he stopped to put on the spare, if their detectives worth their salt, they would automatically go and canvass that area. Even if they don't believe that she's there, you still would have to go over there and canvass it, just in case, because you have a pinpointed location where he's agreeing that he stopped at, that he spent a significant amount of time at. So that's why he didn't want to tell the police where he actually stopped to change the tire, because he knew that would probably lead them to the body. Let's keep going.
These are names.
These police photos show the rubber tire was completely shredded off the wheel. While changing the tire.
And what does that tell you? You only get a shredded tire like that. That tire is eviscerated. The only way you could eviscerate a tire like that is by driving on it at a high rate of speed and for an extended amount of time, for extended period. This is the only way. You got to be going, he can't go 60 or 70. He's got to be going like 30 or 40 miles an hour and driving at just an extended period of time to shred a tire like that. Like, you get a flat tire, you drive on it 5, 6, 7, 10 miles an hour, maybe even a little less than that. It's not going to shred like that. You might still damage your rim, but it's not going to shred like that. This guy was driving for his dear life because he knew that wherever he broke down originally was not a place that he could actually do what he needed to do, which was hide that body. He was afraid of a cop pulling up behind him and say, hey, listen, is everything okay? You need some help? Even though a cop would have no reason, no probable cause to tell him to open up his trunk, this guy is nervous. He's scared. He doesn't want anybody of an authority bothering him, talking to him, checking him out, asking him questions in his most vulnerable time, which is the time when he has the body of this beautiful little girl in his trunk. This guy needed to drive a long distance to get where he needed to go, because we all know why. Guys, big shout out to everybody who's joining me today. Please do hit that like button. We have 300 people joining us today on an impromptu live. I didn't even advertise this live. I just went live. So that's a lot of people who just popped in to show love. Please hit that like button so we can get into the algorithm, so we can get to a wider audience, and we can be a voice for the voiceless. Let's keep going.
Tire, Stearns says he injured his hand. That tire change delayed Stearns from returning home, he says, so he could not pick up Madeline after school. Instead, Jennifer Soto headed out alone to get her daughter.
Well, I went to pick her up from school today,
Okay.
and she never came out.
Jennifer Soto reported her daughter's disappearance to law enforcement that evening, launching the missing child investigation. She and her boyfriend then returned home, but Stearns reportedly did not stick around.
Stefan went out sometime in the middle of the night and went searching, cruising around to see if he could figure out where she might be.
What car was he driving?
My car.
Detectives say they have images showing Jennifer Soto's white Nissan leaving the condo around 3 in the morning and then taking the exact same journey towards St. Cloud that Stearns reportedly made hours earlier.
He moved the body. Where the body was eventually found is probably not where he first dumped the body. He moved that body. There's no other reason to go back to that location, or there's another theory. The other theory is he tried to hide the body better. More brush on it, more twigs, more leaves, whatever. I didn't see the picture of how Maddie's body looked when she was found. I don't really want to see it. I don't care if I see it. I'm law enforcement. It's no big deal for me. I'm not going to be traumatized, but I'm not going to go seek it. And unfortunately, the sheriff out there leaked it, put it on his Facebook, took selfies with all this extra stuff him and his staff was doing. Shame on them. I hope something comes out of that they exploited this dead little girl, thinking it was something that was a novelty that they needed to take, what do they call it? Trophy pictures with or something like that. I hope they deal with that down there in Florida. I hope this is not brushed under the rug just because it's a sheriff and one of his high-ranking officials that committed this atrocity against Madeline Soto's legacy. But that's a different conversation. But I would love to know, from an investigator's point of view, how her body was exactly found, how it was staged by Stefan Stearns, because there's a reason why he went out there, and he went out there to move or adjust or conceal that body better than he did originally. And you know what else would make a hit in that car, even if Maddie's body wasn't put in that car? If he goes and he manipulates her body, touches her body, lifts up her body, gets that scent on his person, and then goes and sit into the car, guess what? He's going to transfer that scent from Madeline Soto into that Nissan, a scent that would not have been there if he didn't either put her body in that car or manipulated that body and brought that scent into the car on his person. One of those things happened, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, let's keep going.
A police canine indicated the Nissan may have come in contact with a dead body at some point. Stearns denied knowing anything about a late-night trip in this car.
I don't recall us going anywhere last night, but I honestly, at that point...
I don't like helping the bad guys. I really don't. But Stearns is so stupid. He should have just, from the moment the investigation started and they start asking him those probative questions like, Stearns, the places that you saying you was at don't make sense. Stearns should have did this. I want a lawyer. And if they said, well, we're not accusing you of anything, so you're not entitled to a lawyer, then he should have said, I'm not asking any more questions. Because, and listen, I don't like helping the bad guys. This show is not about helping bad guys. We hate bad guys on the show. But he is so stupid. He is so dumb. It's almost like you feel sorry for him as a bad guy. It's like you're not doing a good job being a super evil villain. Like you want to have a competent villain for your superhero. You don't want Superman to just come and blow the guy away. Then you won't have a movie. Like he is the most incompetent villain I've ever seen. Like the bad guys for Nazira Harris case and Ayanna Sawyer, those bad guys are smarter than this bad guy. They were more cunning at their craft of being pedos. He's like, He's like the junior varsity team, man. This guy is the worst. He's stupid. Listen to this. I don't know. But honestly, at that point, my brain was mush and I was on so many tranquilizers. Like, this is not 2025 and the police can't check the infotainment system of the car, your cell phone location, traffic lights, the bunny ears on the back of police cars that also grab your license plate. There's so many different ways of police tracking people, places, and things. You believe that you could have went on a 3-hour tour like what was that show, Gilligan's Island? Na, 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 a 3-hour tour. You went on a 3-hour tour around Florida, and you don't think that anybody saw you out there. And your answer is, well, I don't remember going anywhere. But I was so hopped up on tranquilizers, my brain was mush. And that's an acceptable answer to Stephen Stearns. Man, you might as well just ask for an attorney, dude. Let's keep going.
My brain was mush and I was on so many tranquilizers.
4 days after Madeline's disappearance, Kissimmee police asked the community for help pinpointing where Stearns may have changed the tire of his silver Lincoln.
If anyone saw this vehicle or noticed anything suspicious, we're asking that they call Crime Line.
Hours after that news conference, a witness came forward claiming he saw a man who resembled Stearns changing a tire right here on Hickory Tree.
It's not a bad looking Jeep for an older woman. I mean, 20 years ago? Interesting. Let's keep going.
Road. Just a few feet from here, over that fence, and in those trees back there, investigators found the body of 13-year-old.
I wonder how he got in there. Like, is there an entrance? Or I think this is the entrance right here. Yeah, because I saw that wire gate. So there's an entrance right here. I guess he brought her in, kind of like lacklusterly dumped her body over here. And like, nobody's going to find it. It's a perfect location. I mean, are there even like any berms or anything like where there might be alligators or something? Like, I'm trying to go into his mind and trying to figure out like, what is the purpose? Like, did he think that wildlife was going to somehow dispose of her body for him? Like, and also I have to take into account that there's a time constraint. So that might require him to panic a little bit and just try, well, I got to get the body out of my custody. Whatever I do, I got to get the body out of my custody. So there is a time constraint. There's a lot of different factors that's weighing in on Stephen Stearns at that moment. But this is just not the ideal place to do what he did and not expect for that body not to be found. But let's keep going.
Madeline Soto. The medical examiner determined she had been strangled to death.
Stephen Stearns has been indicted by the grand jury on first-degree murder for the killing of Madeline Soto.
The state attorney's office interviewed Jennifer Soto after her daughter's body was recovered. She said she did not know Stearns had been molesting the 13-year-old and did not know how Madeline died.
Basically, you have two warrants, so I'll let you know what those are.
Stearns, who faces the death penalty if convicted of killing Madeline, has pleaded not guilty to more than 60 criminal charges, including child pornography possession, sexual battery on a child, and first-degree murder. Stay with News 6 and click Orlando.
Right. So we about to, oh, shoot, we messed up. I don't know what happened.
It's
close that out. All right, so, what just happened? Did we watch the wrong one? You know we watched part. Don't tell me we did that. I accidentally watched part 4. Oh, well, we gonna watch part 3 too. So it looked like we watched part 4 by accident, but we gonna watch part 3. All right. Well, you know it's late night, so my brain is mush. I'm hopped up on work tranquilizers. I've been working all day, so my brain is mush. So I messed up and played part 4 by accident. Whatever. We're going to do part 3 together. But it is what it is. We've all seen this already anyway. We're looking for the minutia of it. We're looking for what they're willing to show us that we may have missed before, like we missed in 5 and 6, where it just totally blew our mind, the things that Jen Soto said that kind of blew over our head when we heard it for ourselves. But wow. All right. This is what I wanted to say, guys. I don't think I said this before, but I've been following it on my own, and I'm not going to bloviate for 5 hours. We're here to talk about Maddie, and we're going to continue talking about Maddie. But I want to say this because this is very, very important. It's probably the most important thing that I'm going to say right now. Because Madeline Soto is getting justice. She's in a process of getting justice, but this is something that's super important right now. And what's super important is right now in California, our brothers and sisters, our fellow Americans, you guys know I'm a patriot. I love my country. Our brothers and sisters in California are going through the most horrendous natural disaster in a very long time. we get hurricanes all the time, and they're horrible. We just saw the recent hurricane that happened a couple months ago, and the aftermath was just insane. But there's one thing when it's water and wind, and people die in water and wind, so I'm not trying to downplay it. There's one thing when it's water and wind. It's another thing when you have fire tornadoes and fire wind gusts. I don't know how to say it because I've never said these words before. Wind gusts that's filled with fire coming at you. Tornadoes spinning in the middle of your neighborhood filled with fire, like something you see in some sci-fi apocalyptic movie or something. This is what our brothers and sisters in California are going through right now. So I just want to say, let's pray for them. Let's not turn it into politics. There's a lot of politics going on over this. I don't know who's right or wrong. I don't live in Cali. I don't know Cali politics. All I know is that beautiful red-blooded Americans are suffering. And this catastrophe doesn't give a damn how much money you have. We got billionaires suffering. We got dollar-naires suffering, okay? So let's pray for our brothers and sisters in California. If you got a couple cents to your name, find the most trustworthy foundation or not-for-profit that you could think of and consider donating those cents to them. Hopefully it's a good one that will definitely help the people that need the help out there. But I don't know. I just wanted to say that. I wanted to bring awareness to that. I wanted to do a video on it, and I downloaded a few videos, and I was having issues transcoding the videos to upload it to my Patreon or YouTube or whatever, so I just quit it because I don't have that much time. So I did want to cover it, but unfortunately, due to technology limitations, I couldn't cover it the way I wanted to cover it, so I just focused on what I do best, which is talking about these little children and giving a voice to the voiceless. But California, you are not forgotten to me. I've thought about you this entire time, and I'm praying for you, and I hope that all of my viewers pray for you as well. That being said, let's go back to Madeline Soto, because after this, I got to take a shower and I got to go home. All right. Well, I am home. I got to go to sleep is what I really wanted to say. All right. Let's get to work on 3.
Hey, guys.
On February 28th, 2 days after Madeline Soto had been reported missing, her mom, Jennifer Soto, and Jennifer's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, found themselves temporarily homeless. Deputies had sealed off the Kissimmee condo where they lived so investigators could photograph the potential crime scene. Detectives had also just seized Stearns' cell phone and his car, a silver Lincoln MKZ. Early that morning, the couple, along with Stephen Stearns' father, checked into this hotel near Disney. All 3 went to bed, but then, according to investigators, Stearns snuck out of the hotel.
Hold on here. Hold on. I got to call out Foxy real quick because I got a bone to pick with Foxy. Foxy says that she has had no power, so she's only been limited to 1 live a day. But we haven't seen you in a while, Foxy, so we know you weren't choosing the Strategic Eyes show's lives. I'll remember that, Foxy. I'm just joking. My prayers are with you, Foxy. We really appreciate you, and we're praying for you. She's out in California, so guys in the chat, please pray for Foxy. And big shout out to Moni with a $10 super chat. Now, let's keep going.
And went on a mysterious mission. Detectives wanted to know where he went as they tried to seek justice for Madeline.
Do you think your son's capable of doing something like this? I know it's a hard question as a father.
Nothing would surprise me at this point. I don't know.
You're listening to the voice of Christopher Stearns, the father of Stephen Stearns.
What time did you get here last night?
3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Christopher Stearns says that he, his son, and Jennifer Soto arrived at the Town Place Suites at Flamingo Crossing.
And this always confused me, and this always confused me. And Christopher Stearns reaches out to me every now and then when he feels like I've had discrepancies in some of the things I've said. He has his own opinion. I hear him out. I usually will come on the show and let you guys know what he had an issue with. And I'll tell you my commentary, whether I agree with it or not. He reached out to me a little while ago, said, hey, I want to talk to you and clear some things up. Unfortunately, it was during the holiday season, and I kind of forgot to get back to him. And you know, guys know I'm super honest. It's not that it's not important. It's that I got a lot on my plate, and sometimes things get past me. So I don't chase people down, you know. So if Christopher still wants to clear some things up, I'm here. You can reach out to me, and I will definitely make the time to talk to you. But I say all that to say this. that this is something I never understood. So if there's something he's going to clear up for me, this is something I need cleared up, because I never understood this interaction that they had that night where Stephen Stearns called his dad, Christopher Stearns, up and said, I need you up here, right? Allegedly, he came up to help them pay for their hotel room because they didn't have money. But then it turns out that Jen Soto ended up paying for the hotel room with her money, and Christopher didn't pay for their hotel rooms. He only paid for his own hotel room. And then allegedly, he only spent but a couple minutes with Stephen and Jen before they went their own ways. And then this is the night when Stephen leaves in the morning time and travels all the way down to Northport, which is a 6-hour round trip ride, to do God knows what, because we're still not entirely clear with what he did when he went down to Northport. There's so many mysteries in this night, from why did Christopher really come up there? Or maybe he came up there thinking just what we talked about, that he's going to help them. But what was the agenda on Jennifer Soto and Stephen Stearns to make him come up there? Maybe they had their own agenda that he's not even aware of. And what the hell did Stephen Stearns do when he made this trip to Northport? I'm curious about this stuff, but let's keep going.
And checked in to 2 separate hotel rooms.
I brought my stuff up, went over and said goodnight, and then hit the sack.
About 2 hours later, at 4:42 in the morning, surveillance cameras captured Stephen Stearns leaving the hotel through the main entrance. Investigators believe he then climbed into Jennifer Soto's white Nissan Sentra and drove for more than 2 hours to the town of Northport, which is located between Sarasota and Fort Myers. Stearns has occasionally lived in Northport at his parents' home.
He waited until she got up, went to sleep, and snuck out. Not long after we all said goodnight.
Christopher Stearns told...
Now, they got some nice cars, though. If those were their cars, and I believe that's what their cars were, they have very nice cars. Those are not cheap cars. Now, they got some hoopties that they're letting Stephen take around, but it looks like their cars are those are expensive, nice Lincolns. They're very luxury, very nice ride, filled with technology, and those are very late model cars. But let's keep going.
Detectives,
I mean, I'm not talking ish. I mean, they're entitled. It's not like they're doing anything wrong. They're entitled to have nice cars. They obviously are hardworking people. The father works in the corporation, he works in the real estate and all that stuff, and the mother does the dog breeding and whatever else she's doing. So they're entitled to their cars. I'm just pointing out that they got nice cars. Let's keep going.
Had no idea why his son would drive to Northport in the middle of the night while authorities were still searching for Madeline.
I don't know whether to say I'm flabbergasted or impressed at Stephen's endeavors.
That's a very interesting thing to say. I don't whether to say flabbergasted or impressed at Stephen's endeavors. I'd love some context as to why he's making this statement.
Well, he was, as far as I knew, he was going to pass out at 3 a.m. Yeah. It didn't take me long to crash and burn, and then to find out that he made this round trip to Northport.
All right, so I get what he's saying. He's basically talking about the endurance that Stephen Stearns had to deal with him, and then at 3 a.m. start on this journey when everybody's supposed to be sleeping. Start on this journey, the 6-hour round trip journey to Northport. So he's flabbergasted or impressed. He's either flabbergasted or impressed based off of the fact that Stephen Stearns was able to make that trip. And that's probably why Stephen Stearns was sleeping in the interrogation room, because he really was. Part of it's probably his guilt, because guilt will make you shut down, go to sleep as a defense mechanism. But it probably was also because he was literally physically tired from making that drive and literally operating on a 24-hour clock before being taken into custody. Let's keep going.
Originally, police thought Stearns could have stopped by this storage facility in Northport where his dad rents a unit. At the time, detectives believed the teen may be deceased and her body might be located in the storage unit. But when investigators searched the facility, nothing was found.
Why would he spend nearly 6 hours driving round trip to go to Northport to the storage unit?
Detectives think Stearns traveled to his parents' house that morning, where his mother, Deborah, was home alone. She told police she never saw her son.
You know what stopped him from getting in the house? He didn't have a garage door opener.
While searching her son's bedroom here,
I mean, she sounded like she's like so concerned, like she's afraid he was going to hurt her. But then when you hear her talk to him in other instances, she's like his biggest supporter, really. That's from my opinion. That's how I get it. Like when I hear the father talk, I hear somebody who's kind of like over this, who's very disappointed, who is upset that his reputation has been intertwined with this diabolical dealings that his son has thrust upon the family and the family name. I hear that from the father. When I read the father, when I'm trying to evaluate the character of the father. But when I think about the mother, it seems like she's like the overbearing, my son can do no wrong type individual. So I hear her saying this, that mother effer and all that extra stuff. But when you hear her on the phone and you hear talking about him in other avenues, that's not translating. That energy is not translating in those other arenas. But whatever, that's just my opinion. What is my opinion worth? Absolutely nothing. Big shout out to everybody who's watching. 509 people watching the stream right now. Please hit that like button. Let's keep going.
Deborah Stearns told detectives she found a torso of a sex doll. According to investigators, she initially believed it to be real, prompting Stearns' mother to run outside and begin calling out Madeline's name. But police found no signs of the missing teen in Northport.
I don't know where he got the effing energy, but you're telling me he was down there at 7:45?
Still behind the wheel of his girlfriend's car, detectives say cameras captured video of Stearns heading towards the interstate and beginning the nearly 150-mile drive back to the Orlando area.
Dang.
When Stearns returned to the hotel at 10:55 a.m., he reportedly told his dad he'd gone out for a drive and gotten lost.
Wow. Now, first of all, you guys are diabolical. Somebody inside of the chats, LJ says, ask the dirty laundries for advice down the street. Now, if you don't know about the whole laundry situation, Brian Laundrie and Gabby Potato, that was a massive case a year or two ago, I think probably 2 years ago. Yeah, go look that case up. All right, the other thing is, I know exactly what that ride feels like because I used to do that ride when I worked for the state of New York for the Department of Corrections. When I would have to go to meetings in Albany, New York, where our headquarters was located. And that ride from my location at the time was exactly 150 miles. And I was used to it because I did it a lot. But that is not an easy ride. It's a 2.5-hour ride, really. If you're doing interstate travel, I don't know if that's all interstate travel. I don't know if you could do 65, 70, 80 miles an hour for that entire duration of that travel. If you're going to Albany in the state of New York and you're getting on the thruway, which kind of like cuts right up the middle of the state, you could do the miles per hour, the speed limit is 65 miles. But the traffic will flow at 70, 75, and you could do that without getting a ticket from the state police if they're in a good mood. And so if you're doing that at 70, 70 miles, 5 miles per hour, and I'm not endorsing that speed, please follow the speed limit, all traffic rules, you could get there in 2.5 hours. If you're going the speed limit, you're getting there in 2 3/4 hour to 3 hours. That's a long drive, ladies and gentlemen. And this guy made that drive with zero sleep. You know what's setting him? What gave him that energy? What sent him down there? Guilt. Guilt. His guilt is what gave him the fuel and the energy to make that trip. The adrenaline he got from knowing that if he did not do those certain things, he was condemning himself to life in prison and possibly the death penalty. Didn't work anyway. He was going to get those charges regardless. Let's keep going.
He spent a lifetime lying to us. Okay. And it's just never gotten better. And he fed me some the other day. And before I left the house the other night, I turned to my wife and I said, do we really know Stefan? Can we honestly say we really know?
While detectives were interviewing Christopher Stearns, deputies took his son into custody on child sex charges.
Wow.
Investigators say they found images on Stearns' Google account that showed him molesting Madeline.
Your son has been arrested for sexual battery.
What?
Your son was arrested for sexual battery.
Wow.
Detectives now believe Stearns gained access to a computer device while in Northport and tried logging into his Google account using his parents' Wi-Fi to delete the images and videos of his sexually abusing Madeline, but was unsuccessful. While investigating Stearns'
It's unsuccessful because it's not fully deleted. It's marked as delete. Nothing truly gets deleted in electronics. It's simply marked as delete. But whatever, I'm not going to get into the technicals of that because I'm not trying to help the bad guys. Big shout out to CR who gifted 5 gift memberships to 5 lucky people. So those 5 lucky people, please thank CR. Let's keep going.
Google account, detectives say they found evidence that someone did multiple searches for sevoflurane, an anesthetic that can put patients to sleep before surgery and can cause hypnosis and amnesia. Someone apparently wanted to know whether sevoflurane will show up in a drug test. Those Google searches were conducted less than 2 weeks before Madeline vanished.
Now, I don't know if that has something to do with her passing, guys, because I firmly believe that Stephen Stearns had a fetish with engaging in intercourse with a simulated deceased body. I think that was something he was into based off of the testimony from ex-girlfriends who said that he liked for them to pretend like they were deceased when he had intercourse with them. Based off of the fact that a lot of the evidence that was seized from his phone and his Google Drive showed Maddie in what appeared to be a sleep-like state, unresponsive. That could have either been medicated or Maddie could have done that on her own as a way to deal with the trauma. A lot of times victims will pretend like they're either asleep or comatose or unresponsive in the hopes that they could disassociate themselves from the abuse, or maybe the abuse could be done quickly or something. Whatever the reason is for the coping mechanism, that is something that victims could sometimes are willing to do when they're in such a stressful situation. So I'm not sure that this compound was being researched because he was saying to himself, I'm going to use this somehow to end Maddie's life. I think there might have been much more diabolical reasons for him to research it, probably to satisfy his sick fantasies. But let's keep going. And it's getting late and I'm getting tired, so I'm starting to slur my words. So I apologize for that. We're almost done. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me, but also remember, I've been up since 5 a.m. working nonstop, and I am very fatigued. But let's keep going.
This is that he loves out of her, you know, and he was very upset Monday when he was talking to me. You know, he was sobbing and blaming himself for her disappearance.
Weeks after his son's arrest, while Christopher Stearns was cleaning out his storage unit in Northport, he told authorities he found a box of his son's belongings that included 2 USB drives. Detectives say one of those USB drives contained over 35,000 images of child pornography. None of the images were Madeline, according to police. Stephen Stearns was arrested for sexual battery 2 days after Madeline had been reported missing. Although investigators believe the 13-year-old was dead, they did not know where her body was hidden. Next on Justice for Madeline, we'll show you how detectives located the missing teen's body by tracing the movements of Stearns' silver Lincoln and Jennifer Soto's white Nissan.
All right, but we already covered that. Because Sleepy Strategic played part 4 before part 3. So all you got to do is start at the end of this video and go backwards. Yeah, that's going to work. It's definitely going to work out the way I just described it. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was actually very informative. So far, I'm very impressed with this documentary, the way they edited it together, the way they got to the meat of it, the way they laid out these timelines. There's so much information, so much going on in this timeline that it can actually be very confusing at times. There's times I've had to go back 2 and 3 times to kind of understand the timeline. There's times I've had to listen to other creators like Plunder and Grizzly and listen to the way that they lay out the timeline where I can understand it, where it's like, okay, it makes sense to me. This is what happened and that what happened, because there's so much information. They were able to get so much data on this case that sometimes it could just get all jumbled together like gobbledygook. But anyway, I really like the way that they put this together. I really like the way that they presented it, the narration, the story of it. It was really good. I encourage you guys to go and check it for yourself. Aki will make sure that the link is inside of the description. So make sure you go check that out. Make sure you give News 6 those views so they can get that ad revenue and all that good stuff and hopefully produce more stuff like this. Because where they stopped it is where the story begins. So for those of you, for the thousands and thousands of you who joined me when I did the live cover in 5 and 6, where it ended, where this series ended, is where the story begins. And I would love for them to take the time to start putting together a 7 and an 8 and a 9 and a 10 to tell us about all the evidence that we've covered on this show and other channels have covered as well, but to lay it out in the way that they've laid this series out so far and explain the new evidence that's come out, because, wow, they did a really good job. Before we get out of here, I want to show some love to the chat. Christine Hawk with a $20 super chat says, when you get a chance, read the Constantine lyrics by Something Corporate. It sure reminds me of Stern's letter. Jen was wearing jacket. So Aki, screenshot that for me so that I can remember what Christine is talking about and I can actually go and check it out for myself and definitely read it. Thank you, Constantine. I do appreciate you sending that super chat. And my something Turnbull with a 99-cent super sticker. Thank you so much. And I remember reading a Reddit post, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent, and somebody's like, that strategic guy is all right. But I get pissed off when he stops the show so he could thank somebody for a freaking 99 cents. Yeah, I'm going to stop the show every time and say thank you to anybody who's willing to support my channel, support my dream, and support this endeavor of building a community that gives a voice to the voiceless. Yes, 99 cents matters just as much as $20 because we're grateful for the support here on the Strategic Eyes Show. So that being said, guys, we also have something else that's 99 cents, and that's the lowest tier of our membership, and you get a lot of value for that 99 cents, and we have higher tiers as well if you can afford it. So consider joining the Strategic Eyes membership. Become a member for as low as 99 cents. You get exclusive content. We upload content all the time. A lot of people have told me that I put more exclusive content on my Patreon and my membership than any other creators that they subscribe to. Now, you keep subscribing to those creators. I'm not a hater, but just know that if you subscribe to the Strategic Eyes membership and Patreon, you will definitely get a bang for your buck. You'll definitely become a part of a very unique and tight community. We have safe chats where people can debate respectfully. There's no trolling allowed. It's all about giving a voice to the voiceless in my community. My chat, and I'm going to say that right now because I'm saying it with pride, is one of the cleanest but most maturest chat on YouTube. It's not clean where people can't talk and debate. It's clean where people talk and debate respectfully. We don't tolerate trolls. We don't tolerate evil people who are trying to commingle with decent human beings. And that's what makes our community so beautiful, so profound, and so awesome. So guys, I love you with all my heart. Hit that like button on your way out the door. I see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Oh, one more thing. Please give some coffee to the moderators. Get some coffee to the moderators. Show them love. Aki's saying Edney. I was just about to end it. Stop bothering me, Aki. Jesus Christ. He's like a slave driver, like whipping me, like, I'm strategic. Anyway, I see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.